I wonder, Jer, would you be happy to say some things about the sound component?
Yeah.
Silent Room 4. This is number 4.
So I mean, so with the, obviously I was very excited to work with Nathalie. I'm a huge fan of the stuff she's done. But in terms of the sound for this particular piece, initially I wasn't quite sure how to approach it, because we were thinking obviously of migration, displacement as being the major themes. And I just wasn't quite sure how to reflect that sonically, at least initially. So I thought a way in is to take some of our collective history. So when I'm traveling around, I'm always recording. I'm a bit of a nightmare to travel with, actually, because I'm always recording everywhere I go. But I just have this archive of recordings from all over the world, really. And but I thought, since we've got some representation from Armenia, Lebanon, and Ireland, I thought perfect place to start, actually, because all three of those countries are, there's a historical link to migration there. So I thought, okay, so straight away that's kind of a nice inroads into making this thing. But I also obviously wanted to reflect the local communities as well, so I was gathering some field recordings from locations where families who now live here, where they come from, from generations ago. So I just basically started putting this all together. But I didn't know exactly how then to compose that. Like, should this be a thing where you know exactly what you're listening to at any given moment, or should it be something else? And actually, I decided to create something that was a collective soundscape of all of the recordings. So you're not just hearing one place at one time; you're hearing all of the places all of the time. And I thought that was a nice way to kind of not only talk about or to listen to this idea of migration, but actually the cultural shifts that happen within that, I guess, atmosphere. So I wanted this to be a sort of an intersection of different cultures that are coming together as well. And that's sonically, I was trying to recreate that. So those are the kind of the starting points. Those were the sort of the stepping stones. And then, of course, I wanted it to be linked to LJ Works as well, because obviously this is where it is situated. So what I decided to do, and as Gascia mentioned earlier, it's something I have been doing in my practice over the last few years, is where I like to take sound recordings, take them to specific sites and play those sounds through those sites and the materials on those sites, and then re-record that process. So you're hearing the sounds as filtered through the materials on any given site. So I decided to come here with, so I use vibrational speakers for this. So if anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a speaker with a flat surface, which vibrates when you play sounds through it. You can place that on any material. So for example, if I placed it on this table right here, those sounds would resonate the table, and then I could record that vibrational, that resonance from the table with a contact mic. So you're kind of filtering that original sound through this table. So I basically did that with all of the different materials I could find on this site here. So we're talking wood, bricks, metal, plastics, all sorts of different things. So pretty much everything that you're hearing in the installation has been filtered through the LJ Works site. And when I was here doing that, or going through that process, I decided to record some, just standard field recordings as well. And the thing that I noticed, within 30 seconds of actually hitting record, just under this archway over here, I heard like 2 different languages being spoken within 30 seconds. And I thought that was perfect. It's a perfect summation of this place. And I think, using this idea of language and voice as a sonic marker for this intersection of different cultures, I think is really important. And I think, when people do migrate and when they take their culture to another place, they're not taking that culture unfiltered. What happens is, obviously, when they move to another place, their culture is interacting with other cultures around, and they all are influencing each other. So I just want to represent that idea of cultural movement and kind of mixing sonically, and the way that I decided was, this idea of taking sounds to the space and recording them through that. So that's kind of the general.